The story begins in a peaceful school setting. Children are sitting comfortably in the cafeteria, enjoying their food, laughing and chatting. But suddenly, something horrifying happens. A young girl's eyes start to glow bright blue. Her body begins to tremble violently, as if she's having a seizure or a stroke. The atmosphere turns tense within seconds. Before anyone can understand what's happening, the girl collapses to the ground, completely lifeless. Teachers rush to her aid, confused and terrified. But it's too late. The girl is dead. And no one has any idea why. Panic spreads as more cases start to appear. Medical tests are conducted, and soon, scientists make a chilling discovery. A mysterious virus has emerged. A virus that only targets children. Despite all efforts, finding a cure seems impossible. No medicine works, no treatment shows promise. And within weeks, the situation spirals out of control. The unthinkable happens. 90% of the world's children fall victim to the virus. Hospitals overflow, emergency wards collapse, and even the world's top doctors admit defeat. In a global broadcast, the President of the United States appears on screen, visibly emotional. In his speech, he reveals that his own son has been infected by the virus. He expresses hope that humanity will once again find a way to survive, just like it always has. To tackle the crisis, a special task force is formed. A department known as CCD, created solely to fight this deadly virus and search for a solution. Meanwhile, we're introduced to a girl named Ruby. Her parents are celebrating her birthday at home. They give her gifts, shower her with love, and do everything they can to make her smile. They act as if everything is normal, as if the world isn't falling apart outside their walls. But the truth is heartbreaking. Ruby, too, is infected, just like millions of other children. Her parents know this, but they choose to hide their pain. For Ruby's sake, they pretend everything is fine. That night, Ruby couldn't sleep alone in her room. Something felt off. An unsettling energy lingered in the air. So she got up quietly, tiptoed into her parents' room, and lay down beside her mother. Gently, she held her mother's hand, seeking comfort. But then, something terrifying happened. Suddenly, an orange light flashed in Ruby's eyes, bright and unnatural. The light was intense, and Ruby herself was frightened by it. In shock, she pulled her hand away and ran back to her room. The next morning, everything felt normal. Ruby woke up feeling fine, as if nothing had happened. But as soon as her mother saw her, she froze. She stared at Ruby in confusion and said, "Hey, who are you? How did you get into this house?" Ruby was stunned. She said, "Mom, it's me, Ruby. I'm your daughter. How can you not recognize me? Look, you gave me this gift last night for my birthday." But her mother looked terrified. She didn't remember Ruby at all. Panicking, she called the special CDC task force. Despite Ruby's desperate cries and pleas, the CDC team arrived quickly and dragged her away. She kept screaming that she was their daughter, but no one believed her. She was shoved into a bus, and she wasn't alone. The bus was filled with children just like her. All of them looked scared and confused. Soon, the bus reached the CDC headquarters, a high-security facility surrounded by watchtowers, fences, and military personnel. One by one, the children were made to stand in line. Any child who asked too many questions or resisted was beaten by the guards without mercy. One boy tried to argue and was immediately struck down in front of everyone. Ruby watched in horror. Eventually, it was time for medical checkups. Each child was taken to a doctor's chamber for examination. When it was Ruby's turn, she sat nervously in front of the doctor. The doctor explained that the virus wasn't just killing children. It was mutating them. Their DNA was changing. They were no longer just human. The mutation gave each child special abilities, different from anything science had seen before. As a result, the children were now classified based on the color their eyes glowed when using their powers. Some children had red or orange eyes, and these were extremely rare. Such children had unpredictable and destructive powers. During Ruby's examination, the doctor scanned her eyes, and what he saw on the screen shocked him. Ruby's classification showed up as orange. Without saying a word, the doctor reached for an injection. Calm, silent, and cold. Ruby, sensing something was wrong, became uneasy. Her instincts told her to escape. As she tried to get up, the doctor restrained her. Just when he was about to inject her, Ruby looked him straight in the eyes and said, "I'm not orange. I'm green." In that moment, her eyes glowed orange again. But something incredible happened. The doctor suddenly froze. And without even realizing why, he updated Ruby's classification from orange to green in the system. Ruby had just discovered her power. She could control minds. That's why the orange classification was so feared. After that, all the children were issued uniforms based on their category. Green uniforms for those with mental enhancements. Blue for telekinetics. And just like that, time passed. Ruby remained in the facility, hiding her true nature, pretending to be green to avoid execution. 6 long years went by. The world had changed. So had Ruby. She had grown stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever to escape the prison they had built for kids like her. Now, while the sharp-minded green category kids could easily finish tasks in no time, Ruby always struggled. Something just didn't click for her. And one day, Captain McManus noticed this. He looked at Ruby and said suspiciously, "I don't think your mind is as green as your file says." Ruby froze. Fear gripped her heart. Later that day, while Ruby was walking back to her room with her group, suddenly a high-pitched sound blasted through the speakers. A frequency only the mutated kids could hear. No one else reacted. But Ruby instantly collapsed. When she woke up, she was in the medical room, dazed. A female doctor sat across from her. Suddenly, a guard entered the room and said urgently, "Doctor, it's time. We need to move now." Before leaving, the doctor quickly scribbled something on a piece of paper and slipped it near Ruby. It read, "They know your truth. If you want to survive, meet me in the boiler room." Ruby wasted no time. Quietly and carefully, she snuck into the boiler room where the same doctor was waiting. The doctor then smuggled Ruby out of the facility and into her car. But just as they reached the outer gate, a guard stopped them. Ruby instinctively used her power. With glowing orange eyes, she controlled the guard's mind and made him unlock the gate. Finally, Ruby was free. As the car rolled into the abandoned outskirts, Ruby looked out at the outside world for the first time in years. The doctor looked at her and said, "There are no young people left here anymore. Most families have already fled." Ruby's heart sank. "Can I meet my parents?" she asked. But the doctor warned her. It was far too dangerous. Instead, she handed Ruby a GPS locket. "Use this only if you're ever in danger. It'll help us find you." Then, the doctor told her about a secret camp, where many kids like Ruby were hiding. After some time, they arrived at a meetup point. There, a man greeted them. But the moment Ruby shook his hand, she had a vision, frightening and surreal, of children running and screaming. Unsettled, Ruby went inside to change her clothes. There she encountered another girl with glowing golden eyes. The girl instantly panicked and attacked Ruby with lightning before running to hide in a nearby van. Ruby chased after her and begged her to listen. Eventually, the golden-eyed girl opened the van door and let Ruby in. Inside were 2 other teens, Liam and his friend. Ruby lied and said she was a green and that people were after her. They believed her story and agreed to help her. Unbeknownst to them, both the CDC and the doctor were now trying to track Ruby down. But during a chase, Liam, who had blue eyes and the power of telekinesis, destroyed the enemy cars, allowing them to escape. Later, they stopped at a remote spot. Liam's friend grew suspicious. "If you're green, why are you acting like you're on the run?" he asked. Ruby had no answer. Frustrated and angry, she shouted, "If you don't want to help me, say it to my face. I'll leave right now." Liam intervened calmly. "We're headed to a hidden camp. There's a boy there, an orange. He's the only one powerful enough to keep us safe. You can come with us." Ruby immediately agreed. On the journey, she asked Liam why they ran from the CDC base. Liam revealed that the government had been performing dangerous experiments on them, trying to create an army of superpowered children to use in war. That same night, the doctor who helped Ruby was captured. After brief questioning, he was executed. Later, while sleeping in the van, Ruby accidentally touched Liam's hand. Immediately, she saw a flood of his memories, how he had tried to save other kids from the base but failed. The guilt haunted him. The next morning, the golden girl gave Ruby a bright red dress. She looked beautiful. The group then continued their journey. On the way, they heard a recording from the president's son who said, "If I can be healed, so can you." Later, they stopped at an abandoned mall to gather supplies, but they were suddenly ambushed by a group of kids with powers. Thankfully, the Golden Girl used her electricity to stop them. Eventually, it was revealed that these kids were just like them, mutated, scared, and surviving. The two groups stayed together for the night and shared stories. During this time, Liam tried to get the location of the mysterious orange boy, but the kids told him the place was hidden behind a code, nearly impossible to find. Then Ruby stepped in. Using her mind control powers, she got the secret code directly from one of the kids. She and Liam's friend spent hours decoding the message. When they finally cracked it, the entire group celebrated. But now, Ruby's truth was exposed. Everyone realized she was not green, but orange. Ruby feared they would be scared of her. But Liam gently told her, "There's nothing to be afraid of." Ruby confessed, "I can't control my powers. If I ever use them the wrong way, someone could die." Still, they all continued on their journey. But soon they were attacked by child soldiers dressed in military gear. One of them recognized Liam. In a tense conversation, Liam told them, "We just want a safe place to live." Moved, the soldiers led them to the orange boy, who turned out to be none other than the president's son himself. He welcomed Ruby and her friends warmly. Finally, they had found someone powerful enough to protect them. After that, the orange-eyed boy revealed a shocking truth. The president had lied to everyone. He claimed to be completely cured, but in reality, he was the subject of countless failed experiments. When none of them worked, the government began building camps to imprison children like them, all under the guise of protection. The boy promised Ruby that he would help her learn to control her powers. Slowly, Ruby began discovering the extent of her abilities and started training to gain control. One day, when she was feeling especially low, the orange-eyed boy came to talk to her. He gently said, "Only an orange can truly understand another orange." As he spoke, he held her hand. Just then, Liam walked in, and what he saw deeply disturbed him. While holding Ruby's hand, the boy suddenly got a vision of her memories. That's when he discovered the painful truth. The night Ruby visited her parents, she unknowingly erased all their memories of her. Just by touching them, they forgot her completely. The orange-eyed boy was shocked. Not even he knew how to do something like that. And now, he wanted Ruby to teach him. But Ruby herself didn't understand how she had done it. Later, as Ruby left the room, she ran into Liam. He was furious. He told Ruby he knew what was going on between her and the orange-eyed boy. Ruby tried to explain that Liam was misunderstanding everything. She even confessed that they could never be close, not because she didn't want to. After that, she went to the lake where she met Liam's friend. The girl shared her own fears, saying she didn't feel safe at the camp anymore. Back inside, the orange-eyed boy was secretly reporting to someone through his laptop, sharing the number of green, blue, and orange kids at the camp. Just then, Ruby walked in. The boy quickly shut the laptop, pretending everything was normal. But Ruby was actually there to borrow the laptop to talk to Liam's friend's family. Seeing an opportunity, the orange-eyed boy tried to strike a deal with Ruby. He offered to teach her how to erase memories in exchange for access to the laptop. Ruby agreed. But during the session, when Ruby opened her eyes, she realized the boy was trying to take advantage of her. She immediately punched him in the face and ran out. Outside, she found Liam and told him everything. Liam was enraged and wanted to take revenge, but Ruby stopped him. She knew they weren't safe anymore. They had to leave. That very night, as they were sneaking out of the camp, they were ambushed by soldiers, and the orange-eyed boy was with them. That's when the horrifying truth was revealed. The orange boy was still loyal to his father, the president. He immediately took control of Liam's mind and started beating him mercilessly. Ruby, in a desperate move, took control of the commander and made him shoot himself. The Golden Girl unleashed her powers and attacked the remaining soldiers. Ruby instructed her 3 companions to escape while she stayed behind to confront the orange-eyed boy. She used her powers to take control of the army and made them point their guns at the boy. But he fought back, forcing the army to turn on each other. Eventually, he even managed to control Ruby's mind. He whispered to her, "I'll erase your painful memories and we'll rule the world together." But Ruby regained consciousness just in time. Spotting a helicopter overhead, she used her powers to bring it crashing down on the orange boy. Another helicopter swooped in to attack Ruby, but Liam's friend jumped in and shielded her, getting badly injured in the process. Ruby panicked, unsure how to save her. That's when she remembered the GPS locket the doctor had given her, the same doctor who once helped her escape the base. She activated the GPS. Within moments, the doctor arrived with a companion. When Ruby woke up, she was lying in a hospital bed. The doctor sat beside her and told her that her injured friend was in the hospital and would hopefully recover. But Liam was adamant about leaving immediately. Despite the doctor's attempts to convince him, Liam refused to stay without Ruby. The doctor shared his plan. He wanted to expose the president and reveal all the horrific experiments to the world. But he couldn't do it without Ruby's help. Ruby, afraid for Liam's safety, made the hardest decision of her life. She approached Liam, touched his hand, and erased all memories of her from his mind. Then, she handed him a bag and told him to go home. Liam agreed, unaware of the love and pain he was leaving behind. Tears welled up in Ruby's eyes as she watched him walk away, forgetting everything they had shared. Meanwhile, we see the president's son, still alive. He stood before a massive army, all of whom were under his control. But Ruby was ready for the final battle. This part ends here. The second part has not been released yet. Thank you for watching.